All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick little video here just to kind of go through what I think might be able to work for our research notebooks. So let's see. Again, everything for our research is going to be under the 399 sort of Blackboard page. And under student notebooks, um, I've got here directions for using your notebook. So this is a Google Doc that I'll update as we kind of make changes here. So I'm just going to kind of walk through the instructions that I sort of have here at this point. And especially as you guys sort of learn things, let me know if there's a neat trick that you learn how to do so that we can sort of put it in these directions and make sure that everybody knows. So again, the plan is that everybody will have a notebook that has their own name on it. When I create these notebooks for you, and I'm going to create them from the demo notebook, so they're all going to kind of look like this demo notebook to start. You and I will be the only ones that will be able to edit and make changes to that notebook, but everybody in the group should be able to view that notebook. Okay, so again, Mackenzie has hers here. I'm just going to kind of have them alphabetically, sort of by your name. But let's go into this demo notebook and kind of, again, this is a Google Slides document. And so I'm going to literally just kind of walk through these directions here to kind of talk about the few things that you're going to need to do to get started, and then sort of the things that you'll do sort of on a daily recurring basis. Again, everyone is going to be able to access or view all the documents, but only you are going to be able to edit it. This is an important word of caution. Be careful if you are deleting any pages, particularly if they are the original pages that kind of came with the demo notebook. And I'll show you what those are in a second. Because if we delete those, a lot of the links that allow parts of this notebook to talk to other parts are going to be eliminated. So make sure you're not deleting the cover or any of the divider pages. So again, if we look at what we have here, there's a cover, which is going to be blue for everybody's here. And then there are different sections here. So again, the blue cover here, and then there's essentially 8 different sections. Right now they're named from the template that I got it from. So they're named with high school subjects. So I'm going to show you in a second how you can change those names to be something of interest to you. Okay, so again, looking through these directions here. First thing you want to do is add your name to the front cover. So I'm going to do this with the demo one here. Add your name. So this is going to be Dr. Parenti's notebook, and add your title. So again, this might be citric acid cycle. So you name it, whatever your project is. You might use it as the name of your proposal and so forth. And again, you can edit and change this as you want, but again, this is going to be the title page for your notebook. And again, to modify or add any text, simply click on it. The text box will allow you to do so. While you can go ahead and change the font size, etc., I might discourage you from doing too much manipulating on this. That's going to allow us to keep things kind of looking similar between notebooks. But obviously, if you need to make the font smaller because you need to write more, that's totally fine as well. Okay. That's the first step. Second step is you're going to want to change the name of the tabs because you're not going to want to have like math, right? So the easiest way to do this is we're going to do a find and replace. So let's say we wanted to kind of label our notebooks, like the first thing that we're going to do is going to be MGH synthesis. So you could replace anything that's math with MGH synthesis. Okay, and so it's telling us right now that there's 30 instances of that. Now, caution when you're doing this, because if I change this to MGH synthesis and later on I want to change it to something else, I can't use this find and replace, because anytime there's MGH synthesis within the rest of my notebook, it's going to change it to that other text. So if I'm certain that MGH synthesis is going to be one of my my options here, I'm just going to say go ahead and replace all. Okay, and we can see here that it actually replaced this with MGH synthesis, and on every single page here that has tabs, this next tab is going to be MGH synthesis. So you can leave it as, science and geography and English, because those are probably not words we're likely to use in the future, so it'll be easy to change those. But just keep in mind, if you change it to something that's going to be a common word, that'll be harder to sort of fix. So think about that as you're sort of organizing your notebook, changing the names of the tabs. Adding new pages. So again, one of the main things that you're going to want to be able to do is add more pages as you add new content. Our demo notebook really only has 2 pages for each sort of subject area. So the best way to do this is to duplicate a blank or template slide in the section that you're working in. So again, there's 2 ways to do this. Again, I'm going to read through these directions here, then we'll do them. You can say use slide and duplicate. So find the slide menu and then duplicate. Or again, you can do Command D. That's kind of the shortcut for Mac users. It's probably something similar for PC. And again, I would always recommend sort of keeping a blank page in each of your sections that you can use as a template to copy. So let's watch how that happens here. So if I have this on this page, again, I can do slide. I can say duplicate slide. So that's important because it duplicates and keeps all of these tabs and all of this content. Now, if you just kind of go over here and you say insert, new slide, it'll look like you've inserted something similar, but note here, all of our content information is kind of missing there. So that's kind of an important thing, that is better to duplicate the existing slide, and I just deleted that one there, rather than trying to insert a slide. And again, going and doing this, kind of inserting it by the layout, we can see here all the different layouts that we have. The problem with doing that is, again, it's not going to put all of that extra text information that's in there. So easiest way is to just take a slide that you have, and then you're going to duplicate it. Command D will also do that. Now keep in mind, it's going to duplicate everything, including the text that you have. So I would encourage you, maybe at the back end of each section, maybe have something that is just kind of a blank slate that you can kind of have for that. So that's going to be an important thing, and making sure, again, that we don't ever delete any of kind of the main pages here, like our cover or any of these subdividers, because if we delete these, there's not really a way to put them back in and have all of this content. Now, we'll be able to fix it at the end of the day if something happens, but I just kind of want to give you a heads up now. Be careful when you're deleting pages. All right. So that's about adding new pages. Let me actually go through and kind of bold that to communicate that's what's going on. So adding content. So we want to add content to the main pages. Here's what I want you to think about doing as you organize this notebook with experiments. So for example, let's say this first one is on MGH synthesis. Okay. So what you can do is in the colored bars that are on top, this is where you're going to kind of give some description of what's going on. So maybe we'll call this experiment 1, or maybe we'll call this like media preparation, right? That's the first thing that we did here, preparation. Okay, so again, here's kind of showing how you could have a table of contents, but again, you could sort of delete these pieces too if you wanted, or if you wanted to have a table of contents in this section, you can have that, or you can have a table of contents at the beginning part. Kind of want to leave you guys a little bit of creative freedom with organizing your notebooks, but I do want to highlight what's important about putting something up here is it's going to name your slide by that name. And why is that going to be important? Remember, I said I kind of want this first blue section here to be your table of contents. So notice I called this table of contents. So let's say we're going to put media preparation, and then we put the date that we're going to do it, which is, let's say, February 3rd, 2021. That's going to be an important piece. It's going to allow us to do some things in just a second here. So when you are kind of creating your slides here, let's go. I'm gonna get rid of these parts right here because I don't necessarily know if I want that. I'm going to have this sort of just be all text here. I'm going to talk about media preparation. Okay. So that's including the title and date. So maybe we want to do that at the top of this page. So media preparation, this is going to be 2/3/21. And let's see, what are we doing next? To add an image, like maybe a gel figure, we're going to do insert image and then locate the file to insert. These might be things that you have on your Google Drive. I highly encourage you to kind of do that to keep everything on your Google Drive. That way nothing's going to get lost if a computer crashes, all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say that we wanted to put a figure in here. So let's just kind of leave something well, actually, if I get rid of that, I think it'll still say click to add text. Okay, so we're going to insert an image. Again, you can find stuff on the web if you want. It might be on your Google Drive, but I'm going to upload it from my computer. And I have just some images that I kind of grabbed here. So maybe we've got like an SDS page gel that we want to put in here. So again, you can put this in here. You can, scale it so that it fits. Maybe we want to put in a text box to kind of put some description. So this is an SDS page gel from our MGH purification. I know you can't read that right now, so let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of type in some textual information here. To kind of add stuff. You can also use that to sort of label a gel. I don't want you to feel like you have to go wild with kind of labeling gels and stuff like that on here. Even if it's something that you label by hand, maybe using your an iPad or something like that, or even if you take a picture of something that you label the old-fashioned way, you can certainly put stuff in that way. But that's how we can sort of add images and so forth. Let's see the next thing. To add a chart from Excel, we can insert a chart. So I kind of want to show you some stuff with this because we certainly are going to have some data. So let's kind of go to our next page. Oh, look at here. There's like options of sticky notes. I didn't even see those in the demos. There's places we can have sticky notes that you can kind of grab and throw a sticky note somewhere, I guess, if you wanted. All right. So again, we're going to go to Insert, Chart. And then again, we can say if it's something that you already sort of have from your Google Sheets. So let's kind of go here. We're gonna see stuff that I have here. You know what? Let me go real quick because I have a sheet that's on my desktop, but let's go upload that sheet to my Google Sheets here. All right, so I am going to upload from my device. So this is again how you could get something up here. So this is just some student work from a couple years ago. So this is that Google Doc. So we're going to come back over here to our demo notebook. All right, so now I'm going to insert chart from Sheets, and now this one should show up here. There we go. So I'm going to select this. And what's really cool about this is it recognizes things that are charts within that. So you can pick, there's actually 5 charts that were there. So you can pick the chart that's relevant. And you can say, I want to import that in here. And then you can put that in. Resize this so it kind of fits a little bit better. Okay. So one of the things you'll note that this is a linked chart. So that actually means if anything gets changed in that Google Sheet, it'll automatically change and update in your notebook. Said another way, it's kind of important because that means you're not going to be able to change data in your notebook here if you've got it linked. So let me actually show you another thing that you could do. Let me go back to, let's say we had another Google Doc here, and let's just say that this was some of our lab data from last semester. Let's say we wanted to copy this from a Google document that we had, a Google Sheet. If we come back over here and we try to paste this, it gives us a couple of options. We can either link it to the spreadsheet, and again, that's going to mean that we won't be able to change the data in our notebook, which I think is probably a good thing. There's not going to be any accidental like, oh, did I change that number or whatever. It's going to be sort of the original, that it's just kind of copied as a link to that spreadsheet, or you could paste it unlinked. So again, if you link it to the spreadsheet, it's going to kind of put it in here. We'll notice that when we've selected it, we can see this little link here that shows us that it's linked. Same thing with this guy. Let's just actually kind of go and play a little bit and say if we said paste again and we paste it unlinked, we can see here's that same table, okay? But there's no link option right now, and I could actually go in here and I could change the data that's in there. So again, not something that we necessarily want to be doing. All right, so the last little thing here, let's see this, we just went through the copy and paste data. The last little thing that you can do here, this is sort of an extra option if you kind of start having your notebook getting bigger, you want to organize it a little bit better, we can link stuff, okay? So if you want to link content from one section to another, which means as you're sort of digitally flipping through this notebook, if you're in the table of contents, you can click on something and it will take you to that page. I want to show you how to do that. Okay, so let's go back to our demo notebook here. So let's imagine, right, we've got our table of contents here that talks about media preparation. Let's say that the next thing that we did here was that MGH preparation. And let's say that we do that 2-4. Now, if we wanted to link to this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the text that I want to link somewhere else, and then you can either go to Insert and Link, or you can note here, they'll usually tell you if there's a shortcut, they'll tell you what the shortcut is right here. So if you remember Command K, that's going to be something that can allow you to link quickly. So we're going to say Link, okay? Now look, you can link to a whole bunch of other stuff, but if you kind of toggle down here for slides in this presentation, okay, we can see what's going to be important. Do you remember how we named this slide media preparation and we put kind of the date in, and then we had like MGH synthesis and so forth? This is going to allow us to easily find the slide that we want to link to, and then you can kind of say, okay, I want to link to this slide, and I'm going to say apply. And now this turns to a hyperlink, which tells us that that is linked text. Now, you can click on it here and navigate. So you can kind of click on your notebook while it's sort of in this spot. Noticing here, we can kind of click on this. I thought this one worked, but maybe not. But if we're in kind of present mode, right, this is where these tabs really work. So that welcome will sort of take us back to our table of contents. You can click on this. This takes you to your MGH synthesis stuff. So again, I hope this ends up with a little bit of a learning curve to kind of get onboarded here. I hope this ends up being a really useful way for us to kind of organize and keep all of our lab data in one place and well organized. Let me just flip through here really quick. I didn't realize there were Post-it notes that were there. Let's see if there's any other goodies that we sort of have here to play with. Nope, that might be it. So obviously, let me know if you guys have questions. As you guys come up with maybe kind of great organizational strategies for things, I'd encourage you to sort of think about them. I'm going to come just real quick. One more thing. I want to come back because I deleted those options here when we had kind of the unit sections. Where was that? I guess it was here in the math section. So creative table of contents. So I guess the only thing that they've done here is they kind of created, allowed you to do this where they're kind of color coded, but I don't necessarily think that's anything super special. All right, so that's it. Sorry if this video got a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure some people are better watching a video for directions. Some people are better kind of reading the words for directions. So now you got both.